it's Cloudy. How are you all? Recently, I've been really stressed about World of Warcraft, so we're gonna make another vlog about it and we're gonna talk about it. Today, I'm gonna talk about some of the most fun things for beginners to explore and also some of the most stressful things that I've been experiencing in WoW. The first thing I want to talk about is pet battles. Pet battles is something that unlocked a whole new side of WoW that I never thought existed. For pet battles, you can go continent to continent, area to area, catching pets to basically battle them together like in Pokemon. And to be honest, pet battles are not that popular when it comes to the overall playership in WoW. A lot of people are chasing endgame content, or they're interested in farming mounts or exploring more of the world. But for me, I get to explore the world when I play pet battles, and I like to raise up the pets, explore their different abilities, learn how certain elements can beat other elements, and also collect really cute characters as well. I think the collecting aspect is a really huge aspect of why I like playing the pet battle aspect so much. But sometimes it's a little bit sad that nobody plays pet stuff as much as I do, because even though there's a weekly quest to do 10 pet battles, even though there is a mechanism for you to be paired up with other people to battle your pets together, not many people are queuing at the same time. So I felt like that function never really worked that much for me. Pet battles is also really a great way for me to relax, and if you download a Week Aura, an add-on for the game, it can help you track different pets in different areas and also tick a whole checklist of what you've caught throughout the whole continent. And you can get a lot of achievements through pet battles as well, which adds to your profile overall for the character and the account. Another aspect that's very similar to this is hunting down Beast Mastery pets. Beast Mastery Hunter was one of the first classes that I tried to play when I started World of Warcraft, but I didn't find that I liked the rotations and the playstyle very much. The one thing I did really like about playing Beast Mastery Hunter was actually going from area to area, catching pets at opportune times. Different pets that you catch will give you different skills or different abilities in dungeons based on what kind of type they are, and there's also different colors and variations of the same species, which makes Beast Mastery hunting really fun. As for rare or special pets, there are also unique training manuals that you have to acquire, and through unlocking those manuals, you'll be able to catch hybrid pets, which is another interesting dimension to this hobby. Next one I want to talk about is more along the mainstream lines, which is the monthly trading post. WoW sets up a trading post for Horde and Alliance in their respective areas, and through this trading post you can get a lot of interesting goodies, pets, mounts, clothes, weapons. It changes on a monthly basis, and after you use the initial coins you get from a monthly basis, you can farm more coins to unlock a monthly reward and also buy even more stuff at the trading post. Trading post is also a great way for characters to get a lot of interesting gear to creatively change the appearance of their character. Which leads me to my next point, which is transmogging. So in World of Warcraft, if you get a lot of different weapons, armor, clothes from a variety of dungeons, environments, and raids, all of those clothes can look really mismatched. If you want your character to look cohesive, or you want full control over what your character's appearance is like, you can use transmogs. Transmog basically allows you to transform any piece of item that you're wearing into another appearance. You still get to keep the stats and the powers associated with the original weapons and gear, but you just get to look different. And I think that's one of the best aspects that WoW has ever introduced. I heard that a long time ago this didn't even exist, so whatever gear you got, if you looked really mismatched and really awkward, you just really had to live with it. Other really fun things that I really enjoyed in the game include the seasonal events. So I played the Halloween event where they had a daily dungeon. You could go and kill a boss with a bunch of people, and then they would drop you some goodies for the day. If you farmed the dungeon enough and you got lucky enough, you could get a Halloween mount, which was a horse, and you could also get a Halloween pet, which was a ghost doggo. Very similar to this was the Valentine's Day event and also the Lunar New Year event that recently passed in January to February. You could also farm Valentine's Day currency based on daily quests and tasks for a Valentine's tent area that was set up near the Horde or Alliance bases. And for the Lunar New Year event, it was the thing that I was looking forward the most, because when I started playing the game, my boyfriend had a character that was transmogged to have a flower crown, and I always thought flower crowns were so pretty. I love them in real life, and I really wanted to get them for my characters in the game, but they weren't available because only certain types of drops or clothing or weapons are available at a certain season. And seasonal loot isn't available unless the event is going on. So I really waited all year from last year July all the way to February to do the Lunar New Year event, and I unlocked all 4 colors of the floral crown, so I'm really happy about that. Now let's talk about some of the stressful things that happen in World of Warcraft. In my first episode of World of Warcraft, I talked about how mythic keys and dungeons are a huge part of the endgame content for World of Warcraft. And I wanted to reiterate how stressful that is because it alternates between Tyrannical Week and Fortified Week. On Tyrannical Week, bosses get an extra buff, and on Fortified Week, mobs and random little small monsters in the dungeons end up being a little bit stronger. There are also rotating affixes like ghouls or spirits that will come out to kill you or apply a debuff. There can be volcanic fireballs on the ground, or puddles that will heal mobs as you're trying to kill them. And these kinds of affixes make the dungeons really interesting, but also really stressful on a weekly basis because you have to adapt pretty quickly, especially if you are a tank or a healer. Different affixes are targeted for different people as well. Certain affixes are a little bit more annoying for ranged characters, and certain affixes are very deadly for melee characters because they're so close up to everything. Another thing that goes hand in hand with weekly dungeons is raids. I have a really hard time with DPS rotations in raids. I don't necessarily dislike raids, I think it's just that my laptop cannot run them. I have a 12 to 13 inch laptop. It's very small, it's very slim. When I bought it, I didn't think I would be playing a game that would involve 20 to 30 people trying to kill a boss at one given time. Even in certain environments, when I'm playing open world or MMORPG games, my computer will lag. There are certain timed events in World of Warcraft, such as the Super Bloom happening in the Emerald Dream right now. There are about 10 to 20 people that might congregate for the Super Bloom, and then suddenly my screen is blinking in and out as if it's a PowerPoint presentation and I'm only seeing screenshots of what's going on. Computer and equipment is a really big factor as to whether or not you can play them smoothly. Raids require a lot of teamwork. A lot of times you have to avoid really big AoE attacks from the boss, or there are specific scenarios where you have to manipulate the boss in a certain way all together as a group, or everyone will die, or you won't be able to slay the boss. There's a lot of conditions like that, so some people find huge missions really challenging. For me, it's really stressful. And not only do you have to worry about your computer overheating, and also working together with a bunch of strangers or communicating with people on Discord, you also have to worry about your DPS rotations. You can't just button mash in WoW. You have to actually figure out what's going on, and you have to keep rotating your buttons and spells in a way that's cyclical and repetitive to get the maximum damage. So really high-level professional players in WoW, they're basically pressing these buttons in a sequence akin to a robot, and it's very technical down to the exact order of the spells. So when you're trying to dodge things on the ground, follow instructions from your raid leader, kill the boss, it's just a lot to balance, and it just makes me not a fan of doing DPS in raids. Also, raids tend to run from 2 to 3 hours based on the level you're playing or the number of bosses that your team is aiming to conquer. By the end of it,
I have totally lost my attention span and will to live, and it's so difficult.
So it's really not something that I'm cut out for. One more aspect that I want to talk about that is not as intensive, but I think is more of a personal preference thing, is mount farming. Mounts are animals, vehicles that you can ride while you're in World of Warcraft. Recently, World of Warcraft introduced dragon flying, which is really quick, and they finally unlocked it for every area, so dragon flying makes traveling around continents a lot easier. One of the reasons why I don't like mount farming is because for certain mounts that are extra pretty or look special or they're limited, you have to farm a lot of reputation for it from different factions. So for example, if Area A belongs to Faction 1, you have to accumulate so much reputation through Faction 1 by doing a whole series of quests that the faction awards you with this title of being an honored guest among them, and then it allows you to buy a mount. Or maybe the reward from the faction is the mount. It takes a lot of slow grinding, and there's a lot of side quests that you have to run if you want to farm certain mounts. For some mounts, there's also certain conditions that have to be met. So environmental conditions, maybe you're sinking to the bottom of the ocean, or you have to fish out 20 tokens, find another NPC, trade it in, or it's limited time only, so you only have 2 weeks to get the mount. If you're lucky, it will drop. If you're not lucky, you'll never get it. So because there are so many different mounts in World of Warcraft, the strategies and the paths to acquire and collect them is so difficult. That's another reason why I ended up sticking to pet battles, because pets are pretty easy to collect. As long as you beat them, you can collect them. But for mounts, you really have to like go online and find a guide to how to acquire these mounts. Anyways, that was my second episode about the best and most stressful parts of WoW. As always for World of Warcraft, I feel like a total noob however much I'm playing and however long I'm playing. I hope you guys found some of these useful and maybe relatable. If you did, let me know what you guys think is the most popular and fun thing to do in WoW versus the most stressful thing that you absolutely hate. And if you guys enjoyed this video and you're looking forward to more videos, don't forget to tune in and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys in my next video very soon. Bye!